You're watching WYLN TV 35. Now, from the area's leader in live local news, this is WYLN News, the area's #1 source of live local news and information in Luzerne, Schuylkill, Carbon, and Columbia counties. WYLN News starts now.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us on WYLN News. I'm Julia Wiegand. A Hazleton man accused of killing a convenience store employee back in December appeared in court for a preliminary hearing today. 40-year-old Yafet de Jesus Rodriguez allegedly shot and killed 50-year-old Ashok Kumar Patel at Craig's Food Mart on Broad Street December 12th of 2020. Rodriguez is charged with homicide, burglary, and theft, and his case will now head to Luzerne County Court. He was also remanded back to prison without bail. William Morse IV of Sugarloaf Township pled guilty yesterday to third-degree murder after killing his father in 2018. Our Philip Kaufman has the details.
Yesterday, 30-year-old William Morse IV agreed to serve at least 30 years in state prison for killing his multimillionaire father. The disappearance of William Morse III started as a missing persons case in June of 2018. Morse IV originally told police his father got into a dark van and never returned. That's when Morse then began draining funds out of his father's family trust, estimated at $7 million, along with the 10 acres of land in Hazleton and his 7-acre property in Sugarloaf Township. Police eventually discovered that Morse IV had researched no-body murders in the months prior. After bludgeoning his father to death, he dismembered and burned the body parts, then put the remains in garbage bags and put them out for trash collection in Cunningham Borough, Hazleton City, and Sugarloaf Township. Deputy District Attorney Dan Zola said police and prosecutors worked tirelessly on the case. Morse pled guilty to third-degree murder and dealing in proceeds of unlawful activities. The police spared him the mandatory sentence of life in prison without parole that would have come with a first-degree murder conviction. The Luzerne County Judge Michael Vo approved the agreed-upon sentence that was negotiated with prosecutors and ordered Morse to be jailed in state prison for 30 to 60 years. Morse IV declined his opportunity to address the judge or his father's family in court. Reporting for WYLN News, I'm Philip Kaufman.
Thank you, Phil. A Butler Township crash sent 2 people to the hospital Tuesday afternoon. A Subaru sheared a utility pole near Hollywood Boulevard on Route 309 around 4 p.m. The accident caused wires from the pole to hang near the scene, so emergency responders had to direct traffic away from them. 1 person was extricated from the vehicle, and both the driver and passenger were taken to Lehigh Valley Hospital, Hazleton. As crews were clearing the scene from the first accident, a woman drove into the wires after failing to follow the traffic patterns. No injuries were reported in that second incident in Butler Township. A Shenandoah man allegedly fired a shot at 2 police officers while they were conducting a welfare check in the borough. Police were called to the home of 38-year-old Kennedy Collado Abreu around 10 Monday night to check on him, after family members became concerned with his irrational behavior. The officers knocked on the door several times, resulting in a gunshot being fired from inside the residence. He was eventually taken into custody without further incident and told police that he believed someone was coming for him. A woman and 2 children were also inside the home at the time of the incident. Collado Abreu was charged with discharging a firearm into an occupied structure, reckless endangerment, and endangering the welfare of children. Eligible voters in Luzerne County should expect to receive their mail-in ballots in the near future. The County Election Bureau's gearing up to start sending out the ballots on Monday, April 26th. Over 19,000 voters requested the ballots for the upcoming May 18th primary. They'll come with instructions, along with an unmarked secrecy envelope. Once the ballot's filled out, the voter must place it in the secrecy envelope and seal it before placing it in the envelope that's to be returned to the county. The election office has to receive mail-in ballots by 8 p.m. on Election Day. The deadline to register to vote in Pennsylvania's primary is coming up on May 3rd. The debate continues on whether to raise Pennsylvania's minimum wage. WYLN's Julie Stefanovich has how some state officials are weighing in on the matter.
The Pennsylvania Department of Labor and Industry, along with other state officials, are calling for an increase to the Commonwealth's minimum wage to ensure that frontline workers can earn a sustainable living.
These Pennsylvanians continue to keep us and our loved ones safe and healthy, and yet too many of them are paid too little to provide for themselves and their families. Every worker in Pennsylvania deserves to earn a living wage, especially those who put themselves in harm's way to protect us.
Governor Tom Wolf has proposed to raise the minimum wage to $12 an hour with a pathway to $15 by 2027.
This will boost the incomes of more than 1.1 million Pennsylvania workers, including many Pennsylvanians who work in frontline healthcare jobs, such as home health workers and nursing assistants. These Pennsylvanians could earn more for the same work they do now in the other 20 states that have already increased their minimum wage. But we need them here. We have Pennsylvanians who need their care, and these jobs cannot be replaced with automation.
The state's current minimum wage is $7.25 an hour, which is the lowest allowed by federal law.
And let's not kid ourselves. The perpetuation of a $7.25 wage is sustaining a welfare state that we could never have imagined. By increasing the minimum wage to $15 an hour, we will reduce the number of low-income families that rely on government aid, and these improved incomes would position many workers and their families to no longer qualify or need public assistance programs.
Research has shown that workers in other industries would also benefit, including retail, restaurant, agriculture, and mining. Reporting for Wyln News, I'm Julie Stefanovich.
Thanks, Julie. Coming up on Wyln News, a gummy vitamin recall to keep an eye on, plus more on the girls' 2020 basketball season's abrupt ending and coaching transition for the Golden Bears. But first, we'll take a look at our 5-day forecast brought to you by the Wyln Weather Kids. We'll be right back.
My name is Alexander Bonomo. I'm 12 years old, and tomorrow's Wyln forecast is partly cloudy.
Hi, I'm Marty Burns from Wyln Sports, and we have an exciting segment coming up here on Wyln News 35. It's Let's Talk Sports. We're going to have special guests on talking about past seasons, teams, events coming up, previews, so many things sports related we're going to talk about on Let's Talk Sports, and you'll be able to see it here on 35 News.
All Care Home Care, providing quality in home care since 1986. Call and see how their team of licensed physical therapists, skilled nurses, speech, and occupational therapists can provide you with exceptional service in the comfort of your own home. They also offer dietitian, home health aide, and medical social worker services. You have a choice in your health care. For safe, friendly, qualified care, call All Care Home Care today and let their team begin taking care of you and your loved ones.
Wyln programming is online all the time. Visit our website at WYLNTV.com to check out archive shows and a live stream of our broadcasts. And don't forget to visit all of our social media pages for breaking news, weather, and sports. You can also head directly to our YouTube page for all our programming at youtube.com/WYLNTV35. Subscribe and ring that bell so you get notified every time there's a new show available online.
Hey guys, it's Ray Merrill. It's Blaze Alexander, Greater Hazleton Mazda. Hey guys, I know what you're thinking. There's a lot of brands out there. You're looking for something all-wheel drive. You're looking for something sporty. You're looking for something reliable. According to Consumer Reports, Mazda has emerged as the most reliable car brand, beating Toyota and Lexus. You might as well get the most reliable car from the most reliable dealer. So if you're in the area, come on down to Blaze Alexander, Greater Hazleton. We are the largest Mazda dealer in central Pennsylvania as far as inventory goes. Check them out online at blazealexander.com. We'll even deliver them to you.
A popular brand of gummy vitamins was recalled for reports that they may contain metal mesh. Church & Dwight Company Incorporated is recalling several varieties of its VitaFusion gummy vitamin products after receiving 2 reports from consumers. Ingesting a metallic material could lead to damage of the digestive tract, but the company says it's not aware of any illnesses or injury due to the contamination. These recalled products were manufactured between October 29th and November 3rd of 2020 and distributed between November 13th of 2020 and April 9th of 2021. Consumers are urged to stop using these immediately and can call the company at 1-800-981-4710 Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. for a full refund before throwing them out. Wyln's all-time OT hero Marty Burns was drafted to the news for the in-depth analysis of what's happening on and off season across our viewing area. This week he's chatting with Mahanoy area's athletic director and girls basketball coach Eric Boucheron. So let's talk sports. Here's part 3.
For your team, and especially for the seniors on that team, I'm sure there's a lot of what ifs as far as, how far could we have gone? Could we have gone to Hershey? That type of thing. And instead, it's just one of those, the pandemic ended your season.
Right, and as devastating as it was for our seniors, we had 3 phenomenal seniors who went through the entire program from 7th grade. It was as much heart-wrenching for Tom. I mean, he put all that time in with us, and that's how his head coaching career ended, essentially. And you feel terrible because I being his assistant for the entire time, I know the time he put in. I know the hours, the scouting trips that we took together, and I was devastated for Tom that his head coaching career ended that way.
And for your returning players this year, before you ended up getting hired, to have the season end the way it did, and then Coach Sheeler stepped down, what was the mindset of the team?
Honestly, we didn't have a whole lot of time to think about the what ifs, what could have happened last year. We were forced to ramp up everything from the minute we got into the gym. As I stated earlier, I was hired the end of June. We didn't get together for a workout until the 2nd week of October. That was just when we were able to get gym time when restrictions lifted. So it was all on the girls at that point. We had some Zoom meetings, we talked about expectations, things I wanted them to work on, but we weren't able to meet as a team. So like you touched on with our new head football coach, Paul Babinski, I was kind of in the same boat with the system itself was going to remain somewhat similar, but to put my spin on it, to put my own touch on it, it was mid-season until we actually got going with what we wanted to do. Now, it ended up working out. We started clicking on all cylinders by the time the playoffs came around, but it made for a very tough offseason because we just couldn't get together.
Coming up on Quick Town's News Choice, it's all about vaccines on this Wellness Wednesday in Community and You. Plus, leading the way, part 3. Stay with us.
This Good News Wednesday, we're at Carbon County Animal Shelter, where John is grilling up some appreciation for the dogs and staff here.
Well, I just wanted to show some appreciation to the Carbon County Animal Shelter because they do so much for everybody.
John's son sadly died in a house fire, leaving the care of the dogs to John. But keeping the dogs just didn't work out for the family, so John turned to Carbon County Animal Shelter.
All the research that these guys did on Facebook and the media and newspaper articles to get these 2 dogs adopted. And Tom said, we'll know when the right person does. And sure enough, a couple weeks later, Celeste came and the dogs got a happy home.
That's your Good News Wednesday. Thank you for joining us here on WYLN.
Do you like craft beer? Do you want to learn the right way to sample wine? How about checking out a restaurant with a unique flavor or a crazy food challenge? These are just some of the things we are featuring on Wine, Hops, and Road Stops. So, spend some time learning about great wine, great beer, and great food on WYLN TV 35.
Penn State Hazleton is improving the lives of others, starting in our community.
Providing degrees that meet the needs of the area.
Fueling entrepreneurship and contributing more than $36 million annually to the state's economy.
Researching the health of our local ecosystem on the Susquehanna River.
Together, our impact keeps growing, backed by the strength of 24 campuses and 700,000 alumni.
At Grand Central, our family has been supplying your family with quality brand name furniture, mattresses, and appliances for over 3 generations. Whether you choose from our excellent selection of Lazy Boy, Catnapper, or England furniture, or from our fantastic selection of Sealy and Stearns & Foster mattresses, we guarantee total comfort in every room of your home.
With expert advice,
everyday low prices,
plus interest-free financing for up to 60 months.
From our family to your family.
Grand Central in Hazleton. Everything to make your house a home.
Did you know that WYLN News provides news updates every weekday afternoon
at 1, 3, and 5 here on TV and on social media?
Did you also know you can watch WYLN News on the go by visiting our website or YouTube page?
Now more than ever,
WYLN is your local news leader.
Welcome to Community and You here on WYLN. I'm Julia Wiegand, and today is Wellness Wednesday, thanks to our friends over at Lehigh Valley Health Network. Today, via Zoom, we have Joseph Wilson, who is the pharmacy manager and clinical pharmacist at Lehigh Valley Hospital, Hazleton. First off, how are you?
I'm doing fine, Julia. How about yourself?
Oh, not too bad. Today, Joe's going to be talking vaccines with us. And when we talk about vaccines, we have 3 on the table for discussion. So explain to our viewers out there the similarities and differences between all the vaccines, Pfizer, Moderna, and Johnson & Johnson.
Well, there's 3 COVID vaccines on the market, as you mentioned. Generally, we group them into the messenger RNA vaccines, which would include the Pfizer and the Moderna, and then the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, which is an adenovirus vaccine, and that's just a scientific fancy word for a vaccine used using a cold virus vector. Pfizer and the Moderna vaccine both require 2 doses. The Pfizer is given and then separated by 21 days. The Moderna vaccine is administered and then separated by 28 days. The Johnson & Johnson vaccine is a one-shot vaccine. That's the nice advantage, but certainly I think, as most of your viewers are aware, they've already suspended the use of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine at this time, pending investigation of some unusual blood clotting issues that have been associated with it.
Now, when it comes to getting the vaccine, we have blown through all the phases. All adults are now eligible to get a vaccine in Pennsylvania. What has the feedback been from the people coming in?
Well, I think the feedback is extremely positive. We've been giving a large number of vaccines here, really starting in late December. You can see relief on people's faces when they receive the vaccine. They feel like they're moving forward in their lives, like they're going to be able to start getting back to some sense of normalcy. Some of the adverse events that you can get from the vaccine, generally those occur after the second shot, more so than the first. You generally want to warn the people that they may not feel great the next day after the second shot in particular, but it could happen with the first. It's shoulder soreness, body aches, headache, just not feeling good, fatigue are all some of the symptoms that patients may get after they receive the vaccine. Now, there is a very, very small risk that somebody could have an anaphylactic reaction to the vaccine. People can certainly receive it, but they recommend that the people who have a history of an anaphylactic, and that's a very throat closing type of reaction really to anything, they should stay for about 30 minutes after they receive the vaccine versus the 15-minute observation period that we normally observe people post-vaccination.
Obviously, aside from the super rare and severe side effects of the vaccines, I mean, feeling kind of down in the dumps, that just means that your body's doing its job. That's what vaccines do, so your body learns how to fight it then.
In this case, they're not actually administering the virus. They're actually giving the instructions to your body to make that spike protein that certainly everybody has seen on the news pretty much every night. And what your body does is once it recognizes that, it learns to have a defense, an immune response to it, so that if it ever did come into contact with the actual virus, it would recognize it and your immune system would attack it. So you cannot get COVID from the vaccine.
Now, when people are on heart medications, or like myself on a bunch of allergy medications because it's allergy season, what's something that those people should keep in mind if they are considering receiving the vaccination?
There is a recommendation by the Centers for Disease Control that you not pre-medicate yourself with Tylenol or ibuprofen, which is Advil, prior to getting the shot. Some people think that if I can take some Tylenol after I receive the shot, I won't get these body aches and I might feel better. The Centers for Disease Control is worried that that could interfere with the immune response. So they generally recommend that you do not take analgesics before, but that certainly is applying only to them for that reason. If you take medication such as a baby aspirin in the morning for your heart or some other pain medication that you require on a daily basis, certainly you can take that prior to receiving the injection.
What's the overall big message that you'd like to get out there to our viewers and our audience out there when it comes to not just one, but all three vaccinations, getting the vaccination?
Well, I think what we really want to get the message out to people is to be vaccinated. It will help yourself, it will help your family, it will help the community. We want people to get vaccinated. These are very safe vaccines and actually incredibly effective vaccines.
Thank you so much, Joe, for squeezing us in today.
Oh, my pleasure, Julia.
And thank you, everybody watching out there. Remember, all adults in Pennsylvania are eligible to receive their vaccination. If you are considering getting the COVID-19 vaccination, be sure to schedule your appointment. In this case, go on your MyLVHN portal or create one, and you should be able to do it there as speedy as possible. That's it for this Wellness Wednesday in Community and You. We'll see you next time here on WYLN.
There's no better place to shoot than Whitetail Preserve. Their skeet trap and sporting clay fields are professionally designed and all stations are handicapped accessible. Whitetail Preserve has resident shooting instructors certified by the NRA in shotgun, rifle, pistol, home safety, and personal protection in the home. Whitetail can also cater any size event, whether it be a private party, corporate event, or wedding. Call 570-455-4251 extension 1378 for more information.
Membership opportunities are now available at the Valley Country Club, 79 Country Club Lane in Sugarloaf. Clubhouse upgrades are in progress and will be ready for the spring. Call Frank Radis for details at 570-233-5328.
PPW Nation, get ready for the best of PPW Season 2. Join Paul Bowe, E. Julius Kuiper, Alexander Bravado, Tom Mitchell, and Alex Watt as we take you down memory lane and relive some of the best PPW matches of all time. Saturdays at 5 p.m., Sundays at 10 p.m., only on WYLN.
If you're looking for an affordable pre-owned car or truck, Chura's Auto Sales has a great lineup of clean, dependable, and quality vehicles. Stop in 610 North Broad Street, West Hazelton. 570-454-7229.
WYLN CA35's children's programming is designed with the specific purpose of serving the educational and informational needs of children. In compliance with FCC guidelines, a copy of the Children's Programming Report is on file for public inspection at WYLN 1057 East 10th Street in Hazleton, Pennsylvania during normal business hours. To view the report online, visit fcc.org.
WYLN's going behind the scenes to learn more about the lives and goals of our local leaders. So, Sandy Kirshner's leading the way into Autism Acceptance Month for Part 3 of this week's series.
And welcome back to this week's Leading the Way with Sandy Kirshner. So, for those who may not know what ACE does, can you just give a layout of the different things that ACE provides for the community?
Yeah, it's really exciting. So, a few years ago, the Wyln Foundation decided to invest quite a bit of money into northeastern Pennsylvania to support the autism community. So, to support services, schools, initiatives to both improve and expand services. It is a partnership of, I've lost count now, well over 20 organizations in northeastern Pennsylvania that all just come together to look for just various ways to improve everything from preschool and kindergarten programs to transition services for adults, to expanding diagnostic services, providing respite for families. Pretty much anything you can think of that the autistic community needs is provided by at least one of the partners in the ACE Collaborative.
Wow. And so you guys, could you kind of lay out a day-to-day function with ACE?
Sure. So our specific role in ACE, as part of the ACE Collaborative, they designed 5 what they call family-friendly hubs.
Yeah.
So that's specifically the role that we play, along with 4 other organizations. So our day looks a lot, we kind of joke that we're the Google of autism in northeastern Pennsylvania, because having a child on the spectrum can be a full-time job and more.
Absolutely.
And it just is very frustrating for parents when they're looking for services, looking for help, and they're making phone calls and they're looking and they don't know where to start. They don't even know that there are things available that they should be looking for. So they can just very quickly call us and we'll do all of the legwork. If we don't know of the service that they're looking for, then we'll find it for them, do all of those calls, and then get the information back to them. So just saving them time and kind of streamlining life for them a little bit.
Oh, wow. All right, folks. Check back with us tomorrow as Sandy continues leading the way into part 4 of this week's segment. Good night.
And that's the news. Remember, the source matters now more than ever. Catch all the latest on our Facebook page or WYLNTV.com. We can also find LVHN's real facts about COVID-19. Stay with us. A look at today's weather is next right here on WYLN TV.